Welcome. I'm super excited because today we have with us Dot Maver to talk about the Global Silent Minute. I'd like to introduce Dot to our community. I know Dot, I've known Dot since I was a young person. And if you've studied with me about health and children's wellness, you've heard me talk about essential oils. And when I tell the story about essential oils, I tell about my first trip to India in 1995. And I was advised to take a bottle of oregano oil with me. And I wasn't sure how smelling like a pizza was going to keep me well in India, but it turns out oregano oil is a powerful antimicrobial. And the person who advised me to bring a bottle of oregano oil to India in 1995 was Dot. So you guys have heard me talk about Dot every time I talk about essential oils, and they become a big part of my life personally, my wellness regime, and also as we support children and families and experiencing well-being and not just surviving but thriving. So Dot, thank you for that, and it's really a pleasure to have you here talking with us. I have one more fun fact about Dot that I'd like to share with you guys. Dot and my mom have been good friends and colleagues most of my life, and they are birthday sisters. So I always remember your birthday, Dot, because my mom, Cheryl Benson, who's also a co-founder of Global Family Yoga, and you share a birthday. So that's kind of a fun fact too.
That's,
So
yeah,
welcome.
very fun. What a joy to be here with you today, Mira. And
Yeah.
I love Global Family Yoga, as you know, and
Mhm.
I love you and your mom and Stephanie and the whole family and the whole extended family. So thank you for inviting me on. And yes, the oils, lovely.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Global Silent Minute. Can you tell us what it is and when it's happening and how we can participate?
Yes, and this makes my heart sing to be able to share this through so many venues around the planet right now. We're in the midst of an all systems breakdown simultaneously or simultaneously, as when we're speaking in Australia, an all
Mhm.
systems breakthrough. So that's our focus, is the breakthrough. And on December 21st, and we in the Western Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere in particular, we say winter solstice, but let's just call it the December solstice of light, because down in Australia, down under, it's actually their summer solstice. So
Mhm.
on December 21st at 9 p.m. GMT, which is 4 p.m. New York time, and on our resource list, you'll see times around the world, city by city. That excites me too. We're going to take an exact same minute of silence, understanding and knowing in our hearts the power of silence. So may I tell the story briefly of how it came to be?
Yes, please.
Okay, so last January 2019, three groups were on the Sunshine Coast on retreat in Australia. And we were discussing from the mundane to the super mundane, and in terms of our spiritual lives and spiritual practices and group work and service in the world, with a focus on peace building. And that's positive peace, right? So you said it earlier, thriving, not surviving, and not intervention, but and really beyond prevention, creating a world that actually works for us, so that wellness is the focus, not trying to fix things when it goes wrong on any level. And one of the groups that had picked out the retreat center, they went and they put books everywhere. Well, you can see the sustainable development goals too. There you go. Well, that's another whole topic someday. So anyway, so this book, can you see it there? Yeah, Chalice Well was lying on the table in the living room. And the second morning we were there, I'm an early riser, and I start reading that book and I come across this story. Maybe you've heard, those who are listening too, maybe some of you have heard of the Big Ben Silent Minute in London
Yeah.
during World War II. So in 1917, two British officers were lying side by side on a battlefield just outside Jerusalem. One of them was Wellesley Tudor Pole, and his colleague, the other officer, said to him, "Tudor Pole, I just had a vision. I'm not going to live through this battle, through this war, but you will. You will survive. And you have to find a way to invite all of us on the other side to assist, to end all wars, to really help bring peace on earth." Never forget the power of silence. Well, that officer died in battle the very next day. And 23 years later, Wellesley Tudor Pole in London, it was the Blitz on London, and just everything being destroyed. And he thought, I will contact Churchill, the BBC, and actually FDR, our president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, ended up supporting allies around the world. And every night, BBC radio, Big Ben would sound live 1 minute to 9. So the bells would ring, and people around the world, land, air, and sea, would come together for 1 minute of radio silence. After the war, a German officer was interviewed, and he was asked basically what happened. And he said, well, they had a secret weapon. I believe they called it the silent minute, and which we did not know how to counter. Well, this so inspired me. I'm holding that book and I'm at the breakfast counter, and as people are patting down the hallway, waking up and patting down to get their tea or coffee, I'm like, listen to this, and I'm telling the story. We have to do this. Mm-hmm. We're not dealing with a world war right now, but we are dealing with crisis across the board on this beautiful planet we all call home. If we can take an exact same minute of silence, millions and millions and millions of us around the world intentionally, I'm going to call on my mama and my grandma and my Uncle Jack and so many others on the other side. If we all do that and stand together, inner and outer, can you imagine, Mira, the power of a shift in consciousness? Consciousness changes in a split second, and energy follows thought. Right? Form follows intention. So that's what's happening. The response has been beyond belief. I mean, there's networks around the world who are plugging in. We're delighted to say welcome to the Global Family Yoga Network and thank you, because it's very organic. We don't even name the 3 groups, basically, except in the FAQ, only because folks, particularly at the United Nations and elsewhere, want to know, well, who's taking responsibility? And my answer is humanity. And as the elder brothers and sisters to all the other resources on the planet, the animals, the vegetables, Mother Earth herself. So that's the plan, December 21st, 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. New York time. And ring a bell. And that was only 20 seconds. Imagine a minute.
Yeah, I love it. This is really exciting because for a lot of reasons. So in our community of people who are sharing the practice of yoga with children, which is ultimately a practice of connection, children really appreciate silence. You might not think so coming into a classroom or a kids yoga class where the kids are running around and screaming, like shrieking, really. And yet when it comes time for the guided relaxation portion of the class and the silent sitting that we do in every kids yoga class, they really relish it. And so I'm excited to invite families to participate in this global silent minute, because we need to kind of shift our belief around what children can and want to do. Because for adults, it can be difficult to sit in silence, even for a minute. There's that awkward silence that we're just not used to because we're just like full throttle all day, every day. But kids don't have as much of that habitual thought formed. And so it's actually easier for kids to sit in silence.
Beautifully said. And what touches me as you're saying that, and what we've been sharing with teachers and parents alike, the word silent and the word listen are the same letters.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, when you go into silence, rather than experiencing the awkwardness of it, step into the silence and listen. Listen for the sounds of silence. And, you know, we use Mount Kailash in Tibet, which is the mountain of the bell, as Gaia, Mother Earth's symbol of a bell. And we'll actually ring bells in many churches and mosques, and many will be ringing bells around the world. But we also have a bell within us that helps us resonate with what I'll call the cosmic bell, or the very bell of creation. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sound, right? So it's
Yeah.
just so powerful. Children get that. They get that.
They
They
get
love
it,
that.
they experience it, and they want more. They're like, ooh, can we
Yeah,
do that again? I'll come into a
exactly.
kids yoga class, they're all running around. They're like, ooh, are we going to do the magic carpet ride? Are we going to meditate today? Like they're seeking it out because they hear the sound of silence. And in the yoga tradition, a couple of things really speak to that. One is in the Vedas, it's written, silence cures all. That's a profound statement, and I think that what that's speaking to is the fact that once we do hear that inner bell, once we do connect with our silence, which is all, that all these misapprehensions about separation are dissolved, and all the conflict that we see in the world today and all the misuse and abuse of our natural resources and everything that's going on is really at its root cause the illusion of separation. And so the silence is the ultimate cure for all that ails us internally, within ourselves, our body systems, within our family systems, and within our ecosystem, and within our global community. And so there is so much to this silent minute, that we're taking together December 21st. And we're going to invite our community to take silent 5 minutes starting December 1st. So we're going to create a meditation practice that our families can use, and sit down with your kids, with your dogs and your cats, and practice sitting for 5 minutes every day for 21 days. And then when we get to do the global silent minute, we'll feel very deeply settled in our silence and tap into that. Another thing that I'm so excited to share with the kids really want to participate. They want to be a part of something. They want to feel like they're contributing, whether that's a 4-year-old putting away the dishes or, sweeping the floor. It might not be the best quality job, but they want to be a part of something. They want to contribute.
Absolutely.
So kids are going to love contributing to this silent minute that we're doing together.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, that has been my personal experience, much to my delight. I don't get to ring the bell when I'm with a group of children. They all
They do.
get to ring the bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's one of our meditation practices. We take the little tingshas, the magic listening bells, and each child takes a turn to ring the bell, and you get 5 minutes of silence just for them waiting to get the bell, and then holding the bell until the sound is completely finished, and then they get to pass it along to the next kid. That's another thing they request, like, oh, can we ring the bells today? So yeah, it's amazing.
So on November 21st, there will be a website available, globalsilentminute.org. And right now, all of our resources are on a website, sydneygoodwill.org.au. That's SYDNEY, goodwill.org.au. We have translations of the flyer in 14 languages, and we have little YouTube clips for Global Silent Minute, where you can just play the YouTube clip if you want, if anybody wants to, with a group or for themselves. The bell rings, you take the minute. So we're making as many resources available as possible to help with the ease of it. But the basic thing is, as you are suggesting and stating so clearly, around the power of silence. And when we connect with our interconnectedness, the reality of that, and we get it, we get the experiential piece, the visceral knowing that all is one. Yeah, it's amazing. It's calming, it's healing, it's delightful, it's joyful. It's when we know that truly joy is a special wisdom.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm so glad to be talking to you about this. I just saw a funny little thing on Facebook where there's an image of all these paper plates and they look to be upside down, but one of them is right side up. And the instant that you see that one is right side up, instantly all of them are right side up. And that's what this silent minute will do. In just an instant, it's going to flip our awareness. And once you go back to seeing those paper plates all right side up, you can't see them upside down again. I saw them upside down, but now I can't see that. And that's what's going to happen with this silent minute, is we're going to flip in an instant from not seeing, from the illusion of separation, to clear seeing. And I'm never going to behave that way again, now knowing that I am my brother, and now knowing that I am with the earth, and I would never take this resource so thoughtlessly again, right? And so this 1 minute is going to be that paper plate that flips everybody's view and perspective. And so it really is, there is something to it. And bless you for channeling this and letting this come through for all of us to share.
Yeah, group effort as always, and
Yeah.
thank you, Mara. And
Yeah.
I'm appreciating your wisdom as you are sharing all of this. Yeah,
yeah. And so our angle is to support families and kids in doing this. And like I mentioned, we're going to create a 5-minute guided little meditation that families can do together starting December 1st. So we'll get our community going with the silent minute prep. So on December 1st, it will feel very natural to sit in silence and participate with thousands and thousands, perhaps millions of people around the world who are all sitting in silence. And that in and of itself is going to be very connecting, to just know you're all doing the same thing at the same time.
At the same time, exactly. And know that it's already millions. Some of the major networks, Shift Network is on board, the Holistic Centers Network, so many, the Goodwill Units of Service Network around the planet, so many are on board already.
And there's been good research that shows, through prayer, if a certain percentage of the population is praying or directing their thought to a certain thing, that there is a shift, there is a benefit, it's a measurable result. So it's not just some pie in the sky, wouldn't that be nice, magical thinking. Like, this is science. And the more we're able to study the brain and the neurochemistry of our brain, the more we see that everything written in these traditional texts about silence and meditation are all valid and true, scientifically proven.
Exactly. And we can experience that. Heart math, which I know you're familiar with, is one of those, and Lynn McTaggart's work. So we'll be using this interview also as part of our resource. So how do people learn more about you and your work?
Our program is called Global Family Yoga, and we are mainly a teacher training program for those who want to share the practice of yoga with children. And we, in a larger sense, are educating children and families and the people who serve children and families how to help children not just survive, but thrive. We really specialize in supporting kids with emotional health needs, attention and focus issues, kids on the autism spectrum, all of that. This particular modality, Eastern sciences and natural plant medicine, have shown to be very effective at supporting kids. No side effects, no addictions, no other things that get in the way of that. And so kids love it. It's organic. It's easy to access. And so that's our work. And our website is globalfamilyyoga.com.
globalfamilyyoga.com. And my personal endorsement, it's across the board, but personally, you'll recall about 6 months ago helping me with a customized yoga practice because I had an injury I was recovering from. That has been like so excellent. And non-invasive, and you do what you can with it until you can give yourself to it and do it all. But thank you, Mira. Your loving wisdom and loving understanding just really touches my heart. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being one of my spiritual mentors for most of my life. I feel very honored to have you in my life, both as colleagues on the spiritual path and as a personal family member in our bigger family. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this big movement, this Global Silent Minute, and we'll share resources along with this video so people can find out more.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Love to all.
Love to you, Dot. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.